Good vibes here only.
Yeah.
Luz Michelle is in the building. I'm Michael Theophil. Hard-headed comedy. You are the founder.
Hard-headed comedy launched in 2018, and the push was when we moved out of Brooklyn, I didn't have what I needed, right? I can go to an open mic and could drop a dime in Brooklyn. I could walk there, I could get on a train there, but here I was driving like 45 minutes to get anything. Months were going on. I remember just sitting there being like, if I don't create something, I don't know what I'm gonna do as far as stand-up comic. And then it was sitting down with paper and pen and then saying, you know what, I think I'm just gonna start my own thing. The name even, Hard-Headed Comedy, like I was like, what am I gonna call it? What am I gonna call it? What am I gonna call it? And then I had all my sticky notes out on the wall. My husband walks in the room and he's like, Hard-Headed Comedy, that's funny. And I was like, oh, that's it, Hard-Headed Comedy, that's it.
Did we try?
Luz Michelle.
You don't try to pick up the pen, you pick up the
You
pen.
pick it up. Hard-headed comedy.
You got it, dude?
Yeah, you ready?
Do you want me to write it down?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
Finally.
We're recording for shortly over 7 minutes now.
Finally,
Oh,
you do
wow.
something
Oh,
good.
God,
It's like,
what did I say?
Can't wait to feed through all that.
Yeah, me too, dude. All right.
Crystals.
The crystals. Good vibes here only.
Yes.
Luz Michelle is in the building.
I am.
I'm Michael Theophil. Said my full government name. And we have Renee Viviano over there.
Hello.
She has a camera?
No?
Oh, okay,
okay,
cool.
though.
Anthony Materiello,
I have a
as
camera.
usual.
How's it going?
Oh, is there a top-heavy camera up there?
No, it's dead now because you
Dead
guys
now,
were talking.
we were
for
talking
7 minutes.
forever.
We were chit-chatting.
Hard-headed comedy. You are the founder and the
Host.
the host. Yeah, which was great. We'll get into that. But how the hell are you?
I'm good.
How are you? How's everything been since we last saw you? You know.
So much has happened.
Yeah.
But I'm good, thank God. I
Yeah.
am. I'm good. I'm learning to more focus on the good. I feel like, especially since that show.
Yeah.
Because it blew me away that I got Hard-Headed Comedy into a theater now.
Yeah.
You know, we're moving up the ladder.
Yeah.
So since then, I have been more like appreciate, right? What we were talking a little bit about
Right.
before.
Yep.
Yeah, because I'm a wild child,
Yeah.
and wild child usually only focuses on what's next,
Right.
what's next, and not being in the actual moment. So I was very in the moment that night.
That was a great night. We'll get to that because you know I want to talk about the show and how it got developed. But you're from Staten Island, and that's
I grew up in Staten Island.
that's where you're from. Like,
Or where would you say you're from? Where would you say?
Well,
Yeah.
I was born in Bogota, Colombia.
Oh.
see, like, okay.
And I
Okay.
was adopted by 2 Eastern European Jews.
Oh,
who
that's
raised
right. You
me
said this in the
Staten Island.
this is your sick. Yeah.
Oh, wow. The plot thickens.
Yes. So wait.
That's how I winded up there.
Yeah. No, I
Cool.
love that. Sorry that I jumped the gun then.
He wasn't paying attention.
No, I was, but it was a while ago, and that
It
was a long
was.
show.
It was good.
It was a great show.
He wasn't paying attention.
I was.
Mike was 2 Coca-Colas deep at that point.
Oh, wow, dude, yeah.
dude.
He took my Coca-Cola.
I know. I was like, can I have yours? Because like I don't want to get up. So yeah, it's just like it was a little too much. They make fun of me because like the sugar or something in Coca-Cola like does something to me, and I get like you think I'm wasted.
Well, they say it's the best hangover remedy.
Do they say that?
I'll still do that. I'm 42 years old, proud. I'll still do that hungover. I'll have something greasy with a Coca-Cola and a joint.
Wow.
It's the best. But Coca-Cola, there's something in the syrup that helps with a hangover.
Yeah, no, it tastes phenomenal, especially the glass bottle for me. I love it. It's like
Yeah,
ridiculous.
dude. So good.
Or like some restaurants it tastes different at different restaurants. Or if you ever have Coca-Cola in like a different country, sometimes they use different sugars.
Yes. It's a little bit more syrupy, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Tony, you don't like Coke?
I mean, I love Coke. When the mood strikes me, I have a Coca-Cola, but it's not my favorite soda.
What's your favorite soda?
Root beer.
Hands down, root beer. There's really no argument.
Yes, there
at
is.
all, dude. No,
That's why
like,
nobody
for me,
else
there's
likes
no
I like
argument,
a good
dude.
root beer.
There's
Root beer's
nothing
good.
like root beer. Did you know root beer? I did my senior year of high school, had a speech class,
He didn't have many friends.
and my final speech was about the history of root beer.
Okay.
Okay, and it was one of the first sodas ever created back in like the early 1800s as a cure-all medicine drink. Like quite literally, like went to the doctor back then. You know, obviously, not a lot of medical stuff going on back then. But like you broke an arm, drink this. Oh, you sniffles, drink this.
And it worked.
No. That's why it's a soda now and not a cure-all drink.
Well, they used to do that with heroin.
Wow.
They used to give you heroin as like a medicine.
Wow.
Could you imagine?
Wow. Would they do it the same way that people are doing it now? Like,
That's a good question.
There was this show I was watching for a while, but yeah, I believe they inserted just like a needle into the tube like you would with an IV.
Oh, wow.
And that's
IV.
what you use for like a virus.
Direct.
wow.
Crazy.
That's what
right?
show is that?
I'm so bad with names.
Yeah, me too.
The Nick. Is it The Nick?
Oh, we have that on DVD. Yes, it is the Nick.
We
Yeah, on
do?
DVD?
Yes. We have like the whole
Loved
series
The
on
Nick.
DVD.
Oh.
I don't know why it got canceled. It
Nip
was
Tuck?
really good.
Oh, yeah, Nip Tuck.
Nip
Maybe
Tuck.
that's what it is.
No, not Nip Tuck.
Oh, then never mind.
The
No,
Nick.
wait, no, the Nick. Oh, wait, no.
The
I'm
old,
thinking,
like the beginning of
yeah,
medicine.
we have Nip Tuck. This
Nip
is the Nick.
This is The Nick.
Yeah.
If that's the correct name, it's so good. It's so good.
It's with that lady who's I forget her name. Mean Girls though, but the Lindsay Lohan's
the
friend,
brunette?
the non-cool friend.
Oh
With
God,
the-
I'm
with,
terrible.
like,
with
the-
names.
Oh, it was like kind of gothy.
Yeah, the gothy chick with
Yeah.
the eyeliner.
Yes.
That's her, dude. That's the actress in it. Pretty sure.
Okay. I don't remember.
It's okay.
I think it went off in like before 2020.
Oh yeah,
It's an oldie.
That's not
No,
that old.
it's not that old.
Yeah, yeah.
dude. 2020 was like decades ago.
Yo, it's
It
crazy.
feels like it.
1920. It does. 2020 does feel like 30 years ago. It's crazy.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Day by day. It's fucking crazy,
That's
man.
great.
So adopted.
Yes.
Do you
When?
know?
How
How
old?
old?
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Next
actually
question,
know.
Michael. Come on. It
I
has to be the next
actually
question.
know because someone taught me many moons ago about a gotcha date.
A gotcha date?
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
you tell
someone.
and
It
then
was my birthday, right? And I was working in an office many moons ago, and a woman came over and she was like, "What's your gotcha date? You're adopted, right?" And I was like, "What's a gotcha date?" And she was like, "When you came over, like when did you land here?" And I was like, "I have no idea." So I went home, asked my parents like all the questions, and I believe the date. I came in July 26th, so I was like 2 months old when I came.
Wow, that's
No,
awesome.
almost 2 months.
Cool.
Oh, July
Wow.
26th, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
1980. Yeah.
Wow, very cool.
Nice. Cool. So Staten Island, tell me about it.
So
growing up there, because I know
boy.
from like his point of view, but I haven't talked to anybody else who's been raised in Staten Island.
Because a lot of us don't get out.
I love that you say that.
When
It's hard to
my
get out of
nephew
there,
shook
yeah,
his hand. I said, I'm like, we got
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
It's tough to get out of there.
Oh, God. Staten Island, I got love for Staten Island. I didn't really notice the love I had until I moved out of Staten Island. Like now when I go like
Same
to
with
visit
you.
my family, like
Yeah.
I feel good there. I feel accepted. I feel like I can curse somebody out and shop, right? And it's totally acceptable. Like no one's going to look at me and be like, oh, look at this aggressive woman. She needs therapy.
Oh,
you
God,
know?
I hate when people are like that.
Yeah.
Take a breath.
Yeah,
Don't tell me to
really.
take a breath.
Yeah. Why are you being so loud and like cursing right now? Like, fuck up, dude.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
what do you
Honestly,
mean?
dude.
What do you don't
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that? You don't have feelings, But growing up in Staten Island was a bit rough also in the 80s, especially the early 80s, early 90s, all of it, because there wasn't much diversity. So that was the thing. It's like I'm Colombian, Native Indian, and my parents were 100% Jewish. And at that time, Staten Island, everybody was Italian and Jewish, right? So I rolled with all these Italians. I was always with Italians. And I started to pick up like, wow, they get shit done when they talk, right? It's just very aggressive, assertive, to the point. And not all of them would curse, but it was their confidence that I was like, I think I like this, yeah type of.
Yeah.
And it was just like as the years accumulated, just living in Staten Island, next thing I knew, there was this whole character. And I didn't even know. I didn't know unless I traveled. So when I would travel, if I went to check into a hotel, someone would just be like, where are you from? And I'd be like, why? And they'd be like, this accent you have, the way you animate yourself, like, where are you from? And I was like, I live in Staten Island. And they were like, oh, Staten Island, New York. I always drive through there to go to Jersey, or I always drive through there to go to the city. And it's like, yeah, well, you can't stop. You're scared. That's why you're not stopping.
It's so funny. It's so funny because Tony hates on Connecticut so much, but it just eerily.
Me too. I hate on Connecticut.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
No,
my
it's
God.
funny.
It's a
You
joke.
guys
It's a joke.
eerily
It's a
sound
joke.
like
It's a joke.
Connecticut. That's exactly what Connecticut. You guys sound like people from Connecticut.
What do you mean?
I haven't
You
heard
guys sound
it.
exactly like people from Connecticut.
No.
No.
We
What are you
passed
talking
through
about?
here from Mass to New
Oh.
York.
Oh, in that
Yeah.
way. Okay.
And it's
yeah.
like, JK, blah, 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 Staten Island, and it's the best. But Connecticut's actually the best.
It's not the
Fairfield
best,
County, Fairfield. But we're not going to go there.
We're not, because you're gonna lose that, dude. Oh, you flubbed it, didn't you?
I did a Barnes.
You flubbed it, dude.
Disconnected his
Disconnected the
headphones.
headphones. This part
We're back.
probably won't cut out. Actually,
No, leave it. It's okay.
no, yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
But okay, cool. So yeah, that's what high schools did you go to a private school? Tony went to private schools.
Which one did you go to?
I went to Monsignor Farrell.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, fancy kid over there.
Fancy.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh God, I started at Port
It's so funny. I
Richmond,
make fun of that school so much. It looks like a dungeon. Monsignor Farrow.
but that was the thing. If you were like dating a Pharaoh boy, it was like, and you're like, yeah, here I goes the Pharaoh. Okay.
We were highly touted.
They were.
Highly touted people.
Oh my God.
I was always so jealous.
Pokemon
So,
trading Tony in high school or whatever it was. So funny, man.
I went
Highly
to two
touted Tony.
different high schools. Went to Port Richmond for a minute, and then I learned that you can just walk right out the side door and do what you want. So that didn't work out.
Right.
So then I went to Richmond Town Prep.
Oh, okay.
Did you hear of that one?
No,
Oh yeah.
Why is it not there anymore?
You know, that's a
I
good
don't
question.
know. I've never even heard of that school,
I know.
Richard Town Prep. My mother, trying to think. My mother was born in '63, so she would have been in high school in like the mid '80s, right? She went to New Dorp High School.
Oh, New York. Yeah.
Which at the time was now Staten Island Tech.
Oh, Staten
Really?
Island Tech.
Yeah. Now
That
it
was
is.
another one
Yeah,
too.
yeah. But yeah,
Smarties. Yeah.
Staten Island Technical High School can't get in unless it's on a full scholarship.
Wow.
You
Like
gotta
it's
be,
a
like,
it's a
smart,
free public
smart.
school for free, and the entrance exam is like you're in 8th grade and you're taking like it's like a college calculus test. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been me.
crazy.
No, me
no
neither.
way. I took that test.
And
I
And
didn't get in. What are you talking about, dude? My mother was like, "Sure, try it. Like it's free. Why not? Like it's
Yeah.
free school. Let's even get free schooling."
yeah.
Dude, it was like a different language. It was brutal.
I hated taking tests back then. Like
Terrible.
Especially being forced like for just tests that like tests alone for school were tough for me, but like extra things testing, I was like, oh my gosh.
I was just not good
like
with it.
SATs or whatever.
Oh, horrible. I was a D- student, but my mom always put mine on the refrigerator, which I appreciated,
You have
right?
siblings?
Yeah.
What?
Do you have siblings?
I have a younger brother, and he was an A++ student. Never picked up a textbook in his
I
life.
hate that.
You tell him facts, memorize. He was the kid sitting in class. He just absorbed what the teacher was saying.
Wow.
Whereas
That's so
I wasn't
awesome.
paying attention, or I took half-ass notes, or came test. There was like pure anxiety for me,
Yeah.
like horrible. So I'd come home as long as I passed. Like that's the level I got to with my parents. They were like,
Yeah.
just pass.
Yeah.
Just pass, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I can do
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, and then I learned to cheat. I was a terrible cheater on tests. I was the one who
Cheating
would,
was tough. I tried to.
you know, you had to
so-
put
so
it in
couldn't do
the, this is back in the day. You would put it through this certain blue pen. And when you turn the pen,
wow.
it would magnify.
Oh wow.
You know, you guys ever eat a cheat sheet? I did because I didn't know what to do with it when I was done. Oh God,
no.
yeah, I was a really bad
I've written.
test cheater.
I forgot what year it was. I don't remember. That's the only time I can remember cheating was writing it on my leg on my shorts
Oh,
and being like,
I've done the
That's
arm.
pretty
Oh
cool.
yeah, I did that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like lifting it back and being like,
Well, you know what I did? I had like I went to a Catholic school, so we had skirts. And so they can't like say, like, "Oh, lift up your skirt." So I would write it on the inner of my thigh, and then like pick up my skirt and put it down. And then what are they gonna say? Like, pick up your skirt? Like,
How dare you?
yeah, I'm a lady.
How dare you ask me to do that?
Brutal.
Yeah,
or wait, the the calculators that had.
Oh yeah.
Oh, like the TI-83s
Yes,
and shit. You
yes.
can put notes in there. Oh,
But
yeah,
no, you'd
dude.
write it in with pencil, like a very light pencil on the back. So like the
Oh,
only way you
yeah.
could see is if you hit the light.
Yes.
So because the teachers would start checking your calculators, or I would write it in between the buttons on the plastic.
You guys better watch
You're
out for
insane.
this one.
Big
No,
cheater.
I used to.
No,
I already,
she did everything.
I already told my parents this, so I can say it
Cheats.
out loud.
Cheats.
But we used to have child locks like on the codes on the TV because we weren't allowed to watch a lot of shows. And what I did one time to figure out the code was I put hairspray over the thing and asked my mom to put the code in. And then it was obviously like 3 numbers. So then I would try all the different variations of those 3 where her fingerprint was on. And then I eventually
Oh
found
my
it.
God, I love it.
Gotta do what you
Imagine where you would be if you applied yourself in like other ways.
He's
Yeah,
so
instead
good.
I was
I
watching
heard
like
that
Kim
my whole
Possible.
life.
Yeah.
Tony, yeah. Tony's so good.
Imagine you took this energy and put it into something.
Yeah, yeah.
I know. Imagine I'm going to go to the bar. I'm going to put the energy in there. But that's fantastic.
Gotta do what you gotta do to survive.
Yeah, do what you got to do to
Yeah.
survive. I
Want to
love
watch Hannah
it.
Montana on Disney Channel. Gotta do it.
Crackhead.
But that was the thing. You learned all these little tricks. That's where I
Yeah.
learned a lot of like my tricks with anything. I
Yeah,
used to
and
steal hubcaps
Keeps
back
your
in
brain
the day.
smart.
Like,
Wait, what did you do?
I used to steal hubcaps
too, I've
back
done
in the
that.
day. That was a good thing in Staten Island. I had a good run for a minute with
Yeah.
that. Mhm.
Tony
Is
thinks
that the
it's
thing
not
on
cool.
the cars? The
Man,
little-
my
Yeah,
dad be pissed.
You don't see them
Dad-
as
oh,
much,
dude.
but yeah, a certain way you had to walk
got in
up to
trouble
it,
for it.
twist it, pull it.
Wow.
Got good money for that. It's a hubcap.
did.
You did
Yeah.
a hubcap thing for a minute.
So I always collected. It was like collecting for me. It was never to sell for me.
Michael's a big collector, if you couldn't tell.
I know. I was about to say, it looks like what I grew up with. This is still my brother's room, even though he's moved to Florida. Like it still looks like this. Like
Yeah.
I feel comfortable.
That's awesome. No, it's
That's
good
awesome.
vibes
We have
here.
the figurines hanging also in his room still. It's something. He took me into a whole world. I feel like video games, Power
Yeah.
Rangers, all of it. I wouldn't have been exposed to that.
Yeah. It's the best, honestly. It's all good stuff, honestly, growing
Yeah,
up on that.
it's fun.
I love it. Comedy, how'd you get into comedy? Were you just always funny or whatever? Always wise mouth type of person?
Yeah, honestly, yeah. And I always would hear, you're funny. Did you ever think of doing like something in comedy? And it'd always be like, no, I got to go to school. I got to get a job. It was always so focused on.
And you did that, didn't you?
Yeah, I have 2 college degrees.
In what?
Oh, God. One's in fashion and one is in marketing. Thank you. I passed, got my diploma.
Nice.
And I had a bunch of jobs. Like I looked terrible on paper. Here for 6 months, here for a year, here for 7 months, here for 2 years. But to me, it was smart because I was just gaining tools along the way in all these different industries that, And then one day I was like, you know what? I want to take an improv class. Like I haven't ever taken improv. I feel it'll teach me some skills with talking in public. Signed up, did the class. I was a horrible student because improv is yes and I'm a no person. So it was difficult. Graduation happens. The teacher comes over to me, shakes my hand, and he was like, I'm going to be straight out with you. I don't think improv is for you. Did you ever think of doing stand-up comedy? And I was like, stand-up comedy? I was like, no, it's never really, should I? So husband and I made a bet that I would do an open mic before he got back from one of his trips. I did it. I was supposed to do 5 minutes. I did 2.5 minutes. I practically had a heart attack.
Wow.
And I brought my smartest friend, who's a writer, right? Like, I was like, I want you to come with me. I want you to tell me something I should pursue. Like, I don't want to follow, a dream. Let me know. So she came, show ends, and I look at her and I was like, so what do you think? And she's like, honestly, you have something. She's like, I don't know what it is. She was like, but don't stop. And that's kind of always been, like, I've been doing stand-up for 11 years. There's always this little voice that, like, someone I'll just meet will be like, don't stop. Don't stop. Because I constantly want to stop.
Yeah.
Stand-up, it's just me. So, yeah, I've been doing it for 11 years. The only thing I've ever come back to, only thing I've ever been consistent with.
Wow.
Yeah.
Only thing.
Only
wow.
thing.
What's the scariest part about it?
Failing. Not being funny.
Like bombing up on stage.
Yeah. It's the scariest thing in the world.
What's the worst bombing you've ever had?
Oh, God. In 11 years, my worst? It would probably be when I blanked during a festival.
Ooh.
I blanked. I wasn't pregnant at the time. I wasn't even drunk. I don't know what it was, but it was something that I just remember turning my head to the left, and I had no idea what was supposed to come out of my mouth next. I was going through my head like a turnstile, like looking for material, looking for bullet points, and it was nothing. It was nothing. So I said something, and then I was just like, good night, because I didn't know what to do. It was so, but it happens.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
Wow.
Steve Martin said it perfectly. When you're on stage, it's the only time in your life where you're in the past, the present, and the future, right? Because I say something out of my mouth. I'm thinking about, should I say this next? And I'm also thinking, how did it land? Like all in one significant moment. So it's like, imagine bombing. Now you're throwing in like negative thoughts and you suck.
Yeah.
Get off the stage. Get a real job.
Yeah. Shit from like third grade. Like, you're a loser.
She never said I love you. You know, there's something crazy in that moment.
No, it's so crazy. Yeah.
And then you go and do it the next night, and you get a standing ovation.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like and I think it's that. It's that thrill that just, it keeps me so locked in.
Right.
That's awesome.
I like that.
I
too.
love that.
Yeah. And like, no matter like what happens, like you're saying, like you bombed, like even if you did really well, the next night you got to do it again anyway.
And that's
you got to do it again. So who cares how good or bad it was, because you got to do it again, you know?
And that is how I feel my mind works. It's like, I'll have a great show, and if I have friends with me or family, especially my husband, like they'll be like, this was so good. You know, they hype it. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, now I got to do it again.
Yeah.
I got to do it again and again and again and again.
Yeah. And it's, you know, it's probably different. Obviously it is, but each night's a little different of a crowd.
Of course.
You know, obviously it's still comedy. So, you know, you're hoping that, you know, these people have a sense of humor.
You don't know. You
Right,
never,
but exactly.
You never know.
100%. I'm a people watcher too. Like I was a psych undergrad before we got our masters at shoot for this stuff, but I'm huge into watching people and studying people, and you know, there's some people who just want to be assholes too. You know what I mean? Like quite frankly, and just are like
100%. Or they're looking for a fight. Like they want to go against what you're saying just because you're the one on stage with a mic. You know, you never. Yeah.
So that's another, it's just crazy to factor all those things in. And we were talking about before, you know, on the show, because we, you know, pre-record these and just to give the, you know, guests a chance to see it and all that stuff. But it's like, you know, we talked about it, at the end of the day, it's like, you can't please everyone, you know? So it's like, that's why it's tough to, you know, you want to respect people, but it's like also respect me, you know, and my beliefs and stuff like that. It's crazy. We talk about it all the time. Before fucking COVID, like you could have different opinions and be cool and hang out.
And you were just that person.
And it's, now it's like, I'm team brr, and you're team brr. It's like, we can't hang out. It's like, well, this is crazy.
It's feelings, it's emotions, it's
That's
all
why
of
I
that.
like the comedy.
It's all of it.
Yeah, it's like the
all of it.
The barrier. And like, remember with like Will Smith and Dave Chappelle and all these getting attacked by these different communities. Dave Chappelle I'm talking about, but Will Smith putting it on himself and smacking Chris Rock, which I would, you know, we talk about. I say it was fucking a fucking scam and all rigged. But anyway, if you
He's like, I have my opinion.
Yeah, just side note, but I do think comedy is like that fucking glue to the world. Like you need comedy to, it helps bridge ideologies even too. Like you could, Carlin, George Carlin, like his stuff, or even the dude who tripped, who died, sadly passed away years ago.
Not Mitch Hedberg.
No, he was famous.
Oh my God, that's horrible. He fell and died?
No, he tripped, like tripping on LSD. He was like one of those comedians. No, that's funny.
Oh my God, he fell down the stairs and died?
He just did it. All right, and that's it.
Oh my God. And you're like, no, he took
What's
acid.
his name?
Oh.
I watched the whole documentary on him, but
wow.
He died. He passed doing something else. Comedian.
He passed doing something else, not tripping?
No, it wasn't from tripping.
Comedian. Oh, it wasn't from tripping.
No.
You said he tripped and
He
he
said
died.
trip. That was the whole joke.
Yeah.
Hold on. Just give me 1 sec, please.
So did he overdose on, I mean, come on. Acid was insane. How could you
What the
not?
fuck
I
was
can't even
his
believe I survived
name?
acid.
I want to say
Many moons ago.
it's
in Staten
Bob
Island.
Saget.
no, dude. He was
No, Bob Saget really
He
thought.
physically tripped.
Yeah, he that's what I thought.
Leslie Jordan, no. Trevor Moore.
If it didn't come right up.
Not
Yeah, but I
Timothy-
also typed
No,
in
I forgot his
comedian that
name.
tripped and died. I don't have much info on this guy.
Fuck,
Well, put in
dude.
acid. He said, well, you said acid? LSD?
Acid, yeah.
He died.
No, he didn't die doing acid. Like he
how did he die?
He tripped, and then he like opened up his he expanded his consciousness, and then the whole point was he used that stuff in his jokes. So what I'm getting back to is
Sam Kinison.
the glue.
Oh gosh,
and
dude.
and like of ideologies.
This is brutal.
I
We
know.
went somewhere.
The glue of ideologies is in comedy. That's why I love comedy.
I gotcha.
You can fucking try different things. You can't get mad. You could say certain things because it's just truth. Sorry if it hurts your feelings, but that's the truth.
And that stand-up comedy, you know how many shows or open mics I've sat through with men talking about women stuff that they have
Yes.
no idea, and
Right.
the people are either laughing or not saying anything, but I sit through it.
Yes.
I didn't, at the end of the show, go up to them and be like, you know, what you said was very disrespectful.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
You had the balls to go up there and say it, right? Because that's what we're doing as stand-up comedians. We're saying what people are afraid to say. Right? You come out
Exactly.
with your friends and look, hey, he or she is saying it on stage. He got it. He got it.
What? What is it? Who is it?
Bill Hicks.
Oh.
You don't know Bill Hicks? Anybody? You guys are.
We were all hyped.
I can't believe you guys, dude. Go look into Bill Hicks. If you don't know him,
Okay, so he took LSD.
there's a whole. He did trip when he was
Oh.
younger.
He died
And
of
then-
pancreatic cancer,
Yes.
94.
But he used.
Oh my God.
You should
Oh, I don't wanna do
pull
that.
up one of his stand-ups
Oh,
if you
God,
want.
we're going in.
Bill Hicks, drugs, for example. It's Just a Ride is hilarious. Go to It's Just a Ride. Oh fuck.
That's okay, dude.
Okay,
Don't
thank
worry.
you.
It's an easy fix.
All right, cool.
Is there a point to all this? Let's find a point. Is there a point to my act? I would say there is.
Legend.
I have to. The world is like a ride at an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, and they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride. And we kill those people.
Yeah.
It's like a Dr. Seuss
Shut
for
him up.
adults. I love it.
We have a lot
He goes into it more.
Oh, you going?
invested in this ride. Shut him up! Look at my furrows of worry. Look at my big bank account and my family. Has to be real. It's just a ride. But we always kill those good guys who try and tell us that. You ever notice that? And let the demons run amok? But it doesn't matter because
It's just a ride.
it's just a ride. And we can change it anytime we want. It's only a choice. No effort, no work, no job, no savings of money. A choice right now between fear and love. The eyes of fear want you to put bigger locks on your door, buy guns, close yourself off. The eyes of love instead see all of us as one. Here's what we can do to change the world right now to a better ride. Take all that money we spend on weapons and defense each year and instead spend it feeding, clothing, and educating the poor of the world, which it would many times over, not one human being excluded, and we can explore space together, both inner and outer, forever in peace.
Love it. It's like a therapy session.
Bro. And bro bets. You know, Tony hates me. The more time Tony and I spend together, the more I realize he doesn't love me.
No, but that is love.
He look at me. He said,
This is
what,
marriage,
what,
you
uh,
guys.
No,
This
I
is
know.
marriage. looks
I
like.
know.
Yeah. What term do you use all the time?
one?
Love language.
Oh yeah, love language.
Yeah, whatever you say.
Yeah, I had
Because Mike doesn't like to be touched or whatever, and
No, at certain times.
anytime I touch him,
No, it's not
Oh,
true. It's not
okay.
true. It's not
yeah,
true.
get
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
No, because one time I
Why are you always touching me?
No, it's in the worst moments.
No, it's not.
No, but I'm like
Those
that.
are the best
I'm
moments.
Like that. Like I have.
He said those are the best moments.
Yeah,
I don't get
dude.
that. Like I have a mom friend. Every time I see her husband, he'll like come over me and he just like puts his hand on my shoulder and it just like stays there the whole time he's talking. And in my head, I'm like, why aren't I telling him to remove his hand? Why am I not moving my shoulder? Why
Yeah.
is your hand on my shoulder? I hear nothing you're saying.
Next time this happens,
That
she's
sounds
gonna,
ki- that
she's gonna
sounds
be
kinda
like, get
awkward,
your hand
though.
off my
I
shoulder.
am. That's what my husband said.
Yeah.
He's like, because you didn't say what you were feeling. Now next time he does it, you're gonna look like a lunatic. I'm like,
Yeah.
I am.
I know you're gonna snap. You're gonna be like, I'm from Staten Island. What do you
I'm
want from
like,
me?
why is your hand on me? Like I don't get it. It could have been 10 seconds. It felt like 10 minutes. But I grew up with a mom who doesn't like the hug.
My mom too.
Oh,
That's probably
really?
it.
Yeah.
There we go.
My mom would, if you hugged her, she just did like a, and then she pushed you off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yo, we got the same mom.
It's terrible.
That's so funny. Like, she loves you. You know, obviously, a
Loves.
mom love you. You know, she loves me so much more
But
than
not
anything.
a touchy. My mom's not a touchy
she's
feely
my mom's
person.
Eastern European. She's from fucking Bulgaria. There's like, you got to just survive. It's like that's it.
Yeah, my mom always made it like life is too hard. You can't have emotion, and I would just
Yeah.
cry. I was so emotional.
Yeah, that's funny. I think that's why we get along. We're very similar in that.
Yeah,
that's
it's
funny.
tough growing up with a mom like, but
It's
she
good
gave
for
me
life.
the tools I needed.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like
'Cause
no one's gonna like mess with you. Like you stand and you are who you are, and it's a beautiful thing. Like you're a warrior in this life, in this ride.
see what he did there.
Wow.
Yeah,
full
Tony does.
circle.
Tony does this all the time. He's like, first time he's done that.
It probably is. First time ever, dude.
Tony, when I met
great.
Tony, I was just like, he is gonna be fucking famous. Like he
no.
reminds me of Adam Sandler, like those like level like comedians that just are like, if he was someone else doing that shtick, if he looked any different, he would not be as big.
It would be so different.
Yeah, if he sounded different, if he wasn't with all of it, if he didn't play basketball or whatever, like all of that. Same with
It's
him.
true.
Yeah, like those people, like Will Farrell. We have a show called The Sports Port with Brian Barnaby. Shout out, Brian is the best. He's the host, but he hates movies and he hates like comedy like that. And Will Farrell, he hates, so he always says Will Farrell. And they always have a good time about that. But
yeah, my husband's not the biggest fan either.
yeah, it's a you know.
It all
it's-
depends. He makes me laugh, and I really enjoy Will Farrell in serious movies.
I haven't seen him in too many, honestly.
I have. I can't think of them. One, I know he was divorced.
Mm.
And he was like living outside of the house on the grass. It's very dry.
Really?
It's
Yeah.
dry humor drama, I guess you
Living
could
outside
say.
in the grass.
Sounds-
And Tony's like, it sounds like I can't even defend Will.
I
on
mean,
that one.
wasn't he divorced and living outside like in old school? Was he old school?
No, I saw Old School, but
Yeah.
it wasn't Old
That
School.
movie's
Old
great.
school.
Old
I think he
School's
got
great.
divorced in Bewitched too, right? When he was in Bewitched.
Oh my God, he wasn't
Dude,
Bewitched.
Tony with
Saw
the
that
Will Ferrell
too.
movies.
Bewitched was all right. I think Nicole Kidman was the
Yes,
witch.
she was.
That was okay.
She's
It was okay.
Well, it was back
considering.
early 2000s, so she
Okay,
didn't
she
look
wasn't annoying
like,
yet.
like weird. Yeah, yeah,
Consider-
like an actual
yeah.
witch.
yeah. She did the whole like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
used to love the original. Yeah, it used to
I
be on
love the
Nick at Night.
original. Yeah, me
too.
Nick at Night.
Nick at
Yeah.
Night.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Nick
That's
at
a sign I
Night.
need for over here. That'd be dope. Nick at Night.
Yeah, dude.
Love Nick at Night.
But yeah, so comedy. Back to
Comedy.
it. I don't know where we were.
We went somewhere.
Yeah, we just. But yeah, it doesn't
yeah.
even matter.
Yeah.
What was your what was your first comedy stand up? Where was that?
Mom, my first, that's a good question. For some reason, I don't know if I blacked it out due to
Yeah.
fear,
Yeah.
but
Could
I
be.
remember my first, I guess you could say, theater/venue was the Metropolitan Room in New York City. And then after that, it was Gotham. Those I remember. But like my first time, I guess I saw my name on a flyer, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's so much happening then.
It's crazy. There's, what's funny? I didn't know the scene of comedy until we did a sports show live at Sea Grape, and not shout out Sea Grape because you suck. Honestly, from service, Tony knows the alcohol service. 45 minutes, no drink.
It's so it honestly
I'm
it's
talking-
like
so
it's not-
irritating.
It's
No.
not like it's
That's
not like you're at
so
the bar where it's like the
irritating.
guys are like you're in between them and you can't like kind of are you. It's like you're here and it's like you're making eye contact. If this is the bartender lens,
Oh God.
you're like drink, and they're just like
nothing.
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, it makes literally like no sense. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense,
Tony.
I get
Because it's
it.
like you can sit there and they just don't care.
No.
There's like no system. There's like
None.
and there's 4 bartenders. mind
Literally.
you. Like there's a lot of bartenders.
It's not
Oh,
like
there's-
there's
I
low
thought you were gonna
staff.
say there
No.
was
Yeah, it's
one.
not, no, not even like that. There's 4 of them, but they just don't like. It's not like, oh, I got this side, you get that side, I'll get this side, and we work it. It's just like whatever happens.
Yeah.
Basically.
Wing it. We're gonna wing
And
it.
for some reason, they don't like us. I guess.
Yes.
They just don't like us.
No.
Probably because they're threatened and intimidated and jealous.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes, because we go
That's
in there,
what
we
I
dance,
always say.
and
And
we're
that's what I tell
funny.
my kids.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
They don't like you because you're perfect.
Yeah. They wish they were you.
Yeah.
No, but that's part of it. The food, all of it. So and just regardless. So there's other stuff, but I won't go there.
have food
we'll talk
there?
about it off, huh?
You've gotten food there?
No, I've seen it though, and I've had friends that
I've
have.
seen it.
And they were like,
Oh,
and
yeah,
certain-
dude. Ew.
bowel
No,
movements. Oh, God.
dude. Probably
a
moldy
little bit of this
grossness,
action.
dude.
Non-clean.
An Egyptian?
Oh, out both ends, right? I
trying to
got that.
he
I
said
got
an
that.
Egyptian.
It did look a little Egyptian. I get it.
Yeah.
No, but so they did it. They did the vastness of comedy is where I was going with this. It was like Tuesday or Thursday nights. They probably still do it. Grungy. Beginning stages of your comedy career type
Fairfield
stuff.
people.
Stand
the
up.
beginning.
Like, and I'm
Beginning of
talking
comedy
like,
is rough. Yeah.
yeah, you can imagine the crowd there.
Beginning of comedy
Fucking
is
Joe,
so
who's
rough.
been here 45 years, is looking at you like in your eyes while you're. It's just him. And then us, the podcast people, it's like waiting for it to be done so that we could go set up. It's like it was.
Everyone
I
just
felt for
waiting.
these people.
Yeah.
I felt for them. I kicked the thing out again.
Do you have like
Okay.
a style or like someone or something you channel or just your own life? Like what do you pick off of for your own like stuff? Or like how do you even when you have a show, what is it like?
It took me
do?
a minute to get to where I am now, right? Of course, I want to be even better and bigger and continue to grow. But I feel like it took me a real minute to really understand the art of be yourself on stage. You know, because you think you're being yourself,
And then you're acting.
but you're so aware you're not being yourself. And
Yeah.
that's probably the worst part of stand up. When you're on stage, fully aware that you're not being yourself. And this is a fucking rap. You know, you're not getting them back. You're so far gone. You don't even know where you are. Like all of it.
Yeah, it's
All of it.
oh man.
So my new thing that I roll with is it took me 10 and a half years to have fun with stand-up comedy. I was always more like,
So we're witnessing the fun end.
yeah, this is
Wow.
I've always been so like, you know, stay with what you said you were going to talk about, the bullet points, and da, 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 talk about this, don't read the room. Like it was insanity what I was doing to myself for so long. And then one time I did a show. I didn't know I was going to do the show. It was last minute, so I wasn't as prepared as I drive myself to be. And it was one of the best shows I've had in so long. And I got off stage and I'm talking to my friend and my husband's like, so what was it? Because you were you. And I was like, I think that's what happened. I was myself because I had to be. I didn't have the time to
Yeah.
like do all this. I used to pace back and forth. Like you don't even like, oh my God, when I opened for D.L. Hewley back in the day, I was pacing back and forth that he had a squad for his shows. So we're in the back of Caroline's. These men were dressed out in like major pimp suits, like the hats with the feathers and the handkerchief and the tight fitted, shiny shoes, looking good. And you see me just walking back and forth from one wall to another, pacing, going over my material, like to such a pinpoint. And I didn't do that great, but I did good. You know, like
Yeah.
I felt like I could have been so much better, but I drove myself so nuts.
Yeah.
So that's now I have like rules before a show. Like I'm like, you're gonna go out there and you're gonna have fun. And that's it. Because
Yeah.
once you grab the mic, it's done. Everything I practiced, it can just go. It's like when you practice to have a conversation with someone that you finally want to talk about it. You have all your notes, you practice in the mirror the whole nine, and you have a conversation, you don't say anything.
Yeah.
What happened? I don't know. I didn't say anything, you know? So I'm learning to just be more present also, because I have such a mind of what's next, that I feel like I've missed out on so much. Like even as being a mom, like I've missed out on so much because I'm constantly just waiting for what's better, what's going to be bigger, what's going to be more. But yeah, I think I'm more my friend before I go on stage now than I've like really. There's no like me beating myself up before a show because I used to do that too. You're really going to talk about that? I don't think you should talk about it. I think you should change it right now. Right now.
Yeah.
Right now. Scratch off everything that you were going to talk about. So yeah, that's my vitamin now. Is I remind myself to have fun.
How often are you doing a new? So right now with hard-headed comedy, like just because I want to understand that more. So you got the lineup. You're getting comedians to be in this lineup, and you're the host.
Yes, I'm the host, the founder, and the producer.
Do you ever want to be an act in it, or no? We're not going to do that with this.
Well,
you're going to do your own thing elsewhere.
Yes,
type
funny
of thing.
you say that.
Yeah.
I'm looking to bring hard-headed comedy to that status, right? So that I don't feel like I have to host or I have to drive the ship. But she's still my baby that, as you know, like I feel like I have to put my grooves in her so people remember hard-headed comedy. So I feel like as much as I apply myself to being in each show as the host, the more it will grow. Because I do want to get to a level where I have another host come in and you're just going to see me do a 15-minute set and that's it, or a 20-minute set and that's it. I'm not going to be the one hosting it. I'm not going to be the one doing, because producing and hosting, it's a lot. Because I feel like I get more caught up in the production part.
And can you explain the production part a little bit?
Oh, honey.
I'm sorry, because I don't know it,
Yeah.
and I'd like to hear about it.
Production is a beautiful madness. It's a beautiful madness. The race is booking a lineup, watching massive amount of clips. I watch clips. Any comedian that I book, I have watched them, and I'm fully aware of who they are right now. And my biggest thing
Hear
with
that, Tony?
putting
Remember,
my little
Tape
sprinkle.
out there.
don't just say anything now.
Yeah.
We always joke, like, because I think he'd
That's great.
fucking crush it.
You got to
And
do a mic. You got to do an
open
open
mic.
mic.
Yeah, I think he should.
Sure, I got
And
it.
we'd film it, obviously, and all that. Sure. Yeah. Sure, I guess. And then he goes up and it's like, you kid, you're the next big thing.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, out of nowhere. Yeah, sure, cool, whatever, man.
I mean, I gotta write material, I guess, right?
No, I just think you should wing it.
I think
sounds like
Tony
a
has
terrible
dry
idea.
humor.
He does.
He drives
Love
up-
dry humor.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
That's
Dry
why I knew
humor.
when you were up on stage. First of all, it wasn't the Staten Island thing. That's obviously like cherry on top. Like you could have been just a totally different person, all right? And you guys don't get along. But I knew Tony would like your like personality and all that jazz, not just your stand-up routine or whatever. But
I
you
appreciate that.
Yeah.
I will say,
She's like,
Staten
I don't
Island-
like him.
No, I will say, Staten Island. I didn't think I'd ever say this. It's my favorite place to perform.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they get you.
Yeah, and I get them.
Yeah.
Where I was always so against it. Like, I hate Staten Island. I want to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
out of Staten Island.
I
Don't
never
go
really
to
understood
Staten
that.
Island.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, like I always felt like an outsider
Right.
living and growing up in Staten
Yeah.
Island. Like
Yeah.
no matter what I was doing, I always felt like that. So to be able to go home and do a show and catch the
Yeah.
crowd and be able to relate with them, because I've done Staten Island shows, and if they don't like you, they don't like you.
Yeah, yeah.
It's actually a tough crowd to perform in front of because they're aggressive, they're confident. You have to tell them why I should even turn around to listen to what's coming out of your mouth. So
Yeah. Like
Right.
they're at the bar, like, and you're
yeah.
over there.
Yeah,
Even if
exactly.
they bought a ticket, like they're like,
I know.
"What are you, a comic? You do comedy? She does comedy. Everybody, turn around and look at her. Like, you know what I mean?
That
So it's
sounds like
it's rough.
Staten Island to me,
Yeah,
from what I've
Staten Island.
experienced, for sure.
It's Staten Island.
I
so.
do. I'll be honest, and I'll admit it for Tony. He has made it my favorite borough for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it does. It's city. I'm from here. I'm from Fairfield, Bridgeport area. So it's like it's city, and you're to me, and it's suburban to me for the city.
Yes.
And
definitely.
like we take the Staten Island ferry, and that's so much fun. It's free. The only island. You got to see our vlogs of New York City. It is. We get to the Staten Island ferry, and Tony takes me on. There's like a a map
There's a map of
from
Staten Island to Manhattan at the ferry terminal on the floor.
So he goes.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, and in the skit, it's one of my favorite. We have so much content. It's one of my favorite bits by him, and he goes, "Every jump is 5 minutes of time because every block there's like little. He's like, you gotta jump on it." And he always says, "Staten Island, the only island. Like out of all the islands in the world, it's the only island." But it's my favorite borough, and like I said, it's Staten Island ferry away from Manhattan and all that fucking hoo ha, which we like to do because of the Revel scooters. I don't know if you've had a chance.
Oh God.
You don't do that, yeah.
Well, my kids have the Revel scooters. I love the Revel scooter. I do.
Yeah.
I'm not.
They have them in the city.
I'm not that kind of person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not riding a bike in the city.
Yeah,
you know,
That's what I said
I'm
too.
flinging the bike. I couldn't.
I rid on the back.
I couldn't.
Woo! I had a good time.
God, I yell at them all the time.
Yeah.
The
Oh, I'm
bike,
sure.
I do all the time when I have to park and they come out of nowhere and they're like, "You almost killed me."
Oh my God, bike
I'm like,
messengers.
"You're lucky I didn't fucking kill you. Are you
They're
insane?"
brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Or even the ones who are like, "Let's go visit, Manhattan and go on a bike."
On the fucking city bikes, dude. Yeah. Oh my God, they're so stupid.
I know.
them.
Why are you in the city?
Like people
riding
who,
your
and
bike?
they're definitely like they trained it in like from Westport or
Yeah,
something.
something.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's go to the
Isn't
city.
this such
Yeah.
I'm so happy. Look at that.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
And then you see me, like, I look
yeah.
like a maniac.
Yeah.
Fuck you!
Get
Yeah. That is so fucking funny. No, it's funny. I try my best not to be a tourist when I go to the city, but it's hard for me because I'm like, it's so stimulating to me.
Yeah.
I
Like, the
know.
whole
I
city is
miss
fucking
that,
Times
though.
Square.
Oh,
It's just
I
like,
love New
whoa.
York City.
Yeah.
So
But I
much
don't
to
know if I
consume.
love New York City over Staten Island. I mean,
Yeah, no, I
that's-
can't do that.
You know,
dude.
it's
That's,
different. He's showed me the food, everything. The water area.
In
the
Staten
beach.
Island?
Yeah,
the
Great
beach.
Hills
Oh,
Beach,
oh,
Great
yeah.
Hills
Beach.
Don't
Park,
go in.
rather. Yeah.
Yeah, oh,
my
trust me.
God.
It smelled.
Smell.
Don't go in.
Yeah, it smelled like poop. But anyway, back to the production of a show.
Oh, yes.
Because I want to know that for sure. Beautiful mess.
So it's a lot of hustle. Production is a lot of hustle. But there's something about it, as maddening as it can drive me, I love it. Because when you put so much footwork, like I still print flyers. Not a lot of people still do that, right? Everything's social media.
Yeah.
And honestly,
I like the hard copy.
Honestly, if I would have stayed, because we were in Brooklyn, if I would have stayed in Brooklyn, I don't know if I would have printed flyers. It was when we came out to Westchester, like I was like, I don't think everybody here is on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and, LinkedIn and all these things where you could put a flyer. So I was like, I think I'm going to actually print flyers. And I do that. I go into restaurants, I go into bars, I go into supermarkets, I shake hands, I meet people, I give invitations to staff, like that old school of hang a flyer and have a conversation.
Yeah.
Because there's so much stand-up comedy happening, so it's like, why come to your show? What is about your show that's going to be different? That's another thing I put into production a lot with Hard-Headed Comedy. Our whole thing is it's about higher caliber stand-up.
Yeah.
So I'm not opposed.
Not every act is a backup act. They're all lead acts. I remember you saying that
Yes,
too.
they're all lead acts.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the time, any comic that I book, they've been on tour, right? They've done an album. They have their own podcast. Maybe they've written a book. Like it's just the next step
Yeah.
of stand-up comedy because there's something about that when you're on a show with people that you look up to or someone that you follow or someone that's been doing comedy for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. There's a dynamic that happens in that room backstage before we hit the stage. And also, we've all worked together at some point or wanted to work together at some point. So there's a certain magic in that. I'm not opposed to ever having a brand new comic in, but you got to be ready to roll. You got to be ready. I don't want to see you pacing. Pacing back and forth before a show.
Do people
You hear that, Tony?
Do people like because I told you my only comedy show was the one
Yes.
I went to in Stanford. But is that a thing of putting together, curating a show of a bunch of different people, or because typically I see people going to a comedian and then there's like one opener. Like, are you guys like different for that, or like?
Well, that's a different type of show, right? That's more, I'm so bad with like terminologies. But usually that's a headliner and they bring an opener for them. And this headliner already has established following.
Yeah, like
they could fill a room.
Yeah, fill an arena.
You hear their name.
special.
Yeah. They hear their name and they're coming. People will travel out to come, right? Whereas with my show, it's more of a production, right? I'm having 5 comedians on, or I'm having 4 comics on, and they're going to do, that's another thing too. Everyone does a 20-minute set, which not every show does, and not every comedian can do yet. Someone could be doing comedy for 10 years and they're still not able to put together a 20-minute set. That's completely normal, right?
Yeah.
But to be able to see a comic do a 20-minute set at the Palace Theater instead of going to the city, also, like, so it's
What's the Palace Theater where we were?
where you guys
Okay,
were.
cool, cool.
You were
It
there.
sounds fancy.
Did you?
I'm like the
He was like,
Palace
wow, I wanna go there.
The
Theater.
Palace.
Where
Did you
is
say that was
They
the
got
first,
Coke in glass
like-
bottles over there, man.
Did they?
Would you say
Those cans.
that was like one of the first like theater
Oh,
shows
you're-
that
you're not
you
funny.
guys
Yes,
booked there?
it was the first.
That's
It
awesome.
was. It felt good.
Yeah.
It just felt so good. And like to walk into the room and see it jam packed, like that's
Yeah,
when
we were there first, and we were like,
God,
"Yo."
all this work that like went into it. Like it's like I said, it's beautifully maddening being a producer because
Yeah.
there's so much hustle.
And then the host too.
And then I host it.
So when you come up with the shtick for the hosting, is that different every time, or are you gonna keep that
it's a
relatively the same?
mixture.
Yeah.
It's a mixture because I also like to represent whatever town I'm in or
Yeah.
venue I'm in and the
yeah.
people that live here, right? Because that's who came out to the show, people
Yeah.
who live in Stamford, Connecticut. So it's like you do have to put a little bit so people, because we're all going to get to know
Right.
each other and you're going to keep seeing me.
100%. Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course. You got to know Stanford.
Yeah, you do. And honestly, I've really gotten to like Stamford because for me, it reminds me of the city. Like even when I go to hang out
hear that, Tony?
flyers, I enjoyed that because
Yeah.
there was just, number one, there's ethnicity. There's people out. People are riding bikes.
Yeah.
People are yelling at each other. Someone's getting a cup of coffee. Someone's going to the library. Like I miss that fast action. I don't have that where I am in Westchester. It's very like, is anybody out there? Like that's where I live right now. And I'm a true hard New Yorker. So yeah, when
It's
I
a little
came to
crazy.
Stanford, I'm like a bat out of hell.
Yeah.
They
That's
got a lot
awesome.
of restaurants. They got
All of it's
cool
constant.
downtown.
It's smacked in your face stimulation, and
Yeah.
that's how I grew up.
Yeah.
Smack in your
How
face.
far is it from
stimulation.
you, Stanford?
Under like half hour, a couple of minutes, half hour, 34, 5, something like that.
Yeah.
Not far. Everything
Yeah.
is fucking 20 minutes
Yeah.
to a half hour from
It
me.
is.
Everything.
Same here, honestly. It feels the same, like the Connecticut area.
Yeah,
They-
like
they
if you
do it
forgot
right.
butter, forget it. You're not getting any butter.
Yeah. That's funny.
You said your husband was at that show, right? What's his name?
Yes, Harrison.
Harrison. We met Harrison.
Yeah.
You
also
did.
Yep.
You
at the-
did.
does he come to all the shows? And do your kids come to the shows ever?
Oh God. Harrison is my number one fan.
Nice.
He's been, if I've done, I don't know, 1,000 shows, he's been to 950.
Yeah.
You know, he's a huge supporter. And he's the only person I will hang out with before a show. He's the only one I will have a conversation with before a show because he's able to roll with it with me. Like before a show, especially day of, I'm not talking to you. I'm not listening to anything that's coming out of your mouth. And I need you to understand that, right? So he's like the perfect piece to it because he'll also videotape and he'll know how to take the correct pictures and he knows the comics. And if he doesn't know the comics, he'll have a conversation with them because my business is family. You know, I wouldn't be able to do what I do if it wasn't for his support. What?
No, it's just funny. I think is that the tagline for like Olive Garden?
Stop it. No,
Swear
I
to God,
didn't.
it's
I'm going home.
It's either our business or like our restaurant is family or our business
Oh
is family.
God,
something
I
like
gotta
that.
change that.
Yeah.
No
Just
free
probably kinda
breadsticks.
funny.
Yeah, you love that. Yeah, no breadsticks.
But yeah, he loves stand-up comedy, and I think that's also a very important ingredient in our marriage.
Cool.
You have to understand the art of stand-up comedy to be able to sit through stand-up comedy. Like when I first started, I would make him come to an open mic with me. I was like, "You have to come." I'm really scared until like I cut that cord, of course. But for him to even sit in a open mic, like if you do the open mic and you guys go, like it's painful. Nobody wants to sit through an open mic. Like nobody wants to sit
Yeah.
through it. And he would be there. He would be there cheering me on. So he's seen where I started as a stand-up comic and he's seen where I've started with hard-headed comedy. So for him too, like being in that moment with me, he was the one who was like, take the moment when you get on stage, like take it. You produced this. You made this happen when I couldn't even have imagined it happening. That's how every production feels. Like, I'm a pretty negative person. I do my best not to be, but like when I book a show, I'm like, it's not going to happen. Because what goes into it is so much bigger than who I am, but I know it's going to happen. So there's this like constant like, no one's going to come. Everyone's going to come. They're not coming. You're not funny. You're still funny. It's going to be great. So that's why I always say, like, when I have had blowouts with family members before a show, I have been on the verge of like ending a great who knows what relationship before a show. And then I walk into a room and it's a sold out show, right? So it's like anything that's happened that didn't honor me has to stay at the door. Like I have to be so on right now.
Yeah.
I've done shows where I was a headliner and I have a babysitter freaking out and texting me, not knowing what to do with my kid in that moment. And it's like, I have to handle that too.
Yeah.
You know, so it's this, I'm going to ramble, but it's just this, you know, I forgot what the question was.
I forget too. I was talking about if your husband comes to shows.
Oh, right, my
right.
husband.
If your kids come to the shows ever
Oh,
either.
my babies. So they're a little young. They're under 10.
Aw.
So they do come to I produce a show every June called Queerlarious, part of the Pride Month. I'm on the board for LGBTQIA in my community. And for the past 2 years, we've been producing a sold out show. So my children get to come to that one. Starting this year, they won't. We're gonna bump it up a little bit so it can be a little bit less PG rated, because that's what we were catering to. We cater to the younger humans in my community that don't feel like there's an outlet. So every year we do Pride. Now it's my community has been doing it, but I think it stopped and now it's coming back and now we're going full force with it. So the first time my kids saw me on stage, I think was like 2 years ago at the first Pride. And I knew they were going to be there, but I didn't wrap my head around it. But then when I saw them in the audience, like I was like, I don't think I'm going to talk about the things I said I was going to talk about.
I was thinking that when you were saying in some of your pieces about like you and your husband and like conversations between you guys, and I was like, oh, he's here. I was like, well, of course, like what you say on stage, you're probably comfortable with your husband knowing whatever. But does he like not know what you're gonna say, and then you say
100%.
That's so
100%.
funny.
Yeah.
In the beginning, my husband is a wordsmith. He's an excellent writer. So in the beginning, he would help me.
Tony thinks he is.
That's the number one thing. If you
He
can
is,
write,
he is.
my God, I'm not a great writer. Like I have terrible pronunciation, punctuation, all of it. I'm a D- student. Anything I ever write gets back with red all over it. Like, and I accept that about myself. So when I started doing stand-up comedy, he would be like, I would say a word and he'd be like, that's not a word. No, because he's very into the English, the English dictionary and all that. So when I talk, he's horrified. He's hard. So you're going to probably feel the same way too. Like I'll say a word and he'll be like, that's not how you say it. I see it how it looks, right? There used to be this club back in the day in Brooklyn and I used to call it Enigma and it was called Enigma.
Tony's answer, what?
I say the word the way it looks, which is horrifying for my husband. It's horrifying.
Oh my God. Yeah, I could relate.
Horrifying for him. So in the beginning, like I said, we would sit and he would show me like almost like a teacher, like how to write correctly. And then one day, a couple of years in, I was just like, I'm no longer going to need your services. And he was like, why? I was like, because I kind of feel like I'm a good C+ student right now. And I started realizing that I wanted to talk more about him and marriage and like all that stuff. That I was just like, I don't want him to know what I'm going to say.
Yeah, those jokes are funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were. I don't remember exactly what they were, but I remember laughing at them.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
He's fun.
And I
He's
remember
fun to
just
talk
looking at
about.
him and he was just like,
He's so used to it.
yeah, yeah.
But when I do my real underground comedy shows and like I really talk about him, like he's blown away because he'll be like, I can't believe you said that. And I'll be like, why? I said it to you the other day. And he's like, no, I know, but you like said it. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And they loved it.
That's funny.
That's so funny. Wait, so I know this is kind of backtracking a little bit, but when did you start hard-headed comedy and like what was like the push for it?
Hard-headed comedy launched in 2018, and the push was when we moved out of Brooklyn, I didn't have what I needed. Right? I can go to an open mic and could drop a dime in Brooklyn. I can walk there, I can get on a train there, but here I was driving like 45 minutes to get anything. So as like months were going on, I remember just sitting there being like, if I don't create something, I don't know what I'm going to do as far as a stand-up comic, because the traveling back and forth to the city, I can do it, but where I want to get myself to, I need more. And then it was sitting down with paper and pen and then saying, you know what, I think I'm just going to start my own thing. Because if I don't start my own thing, I think I'm going to get very sidetracked. And the name, even hard-headed comedy, like I was like, what am I going to call it? What am I going to call it? What am I going to call it? And then when you're with someone in a relationship, it could be your parent, your partner, they will call you the same thing over and over if you pay attention. So as time was going on, I was like, you know what he says? I hear a lot that I'm a hard-headed person. I was like, I wonder if I can incorporate that somehow. And then I had all my sticky notes out on the wall. My husband walks in the room and he's like, hard-headed comedy. That's funny. And I was like, oh, that's it. Hard-headed comedy. That's it. That's it. And I was like, it's perfect. And I was like, but the comics all have to be like that. You be ready. Just be ready. Because you have to have a confidence in you to be a hard-headed person, right? I can't tell you how many times in my life I've heard the word no, and in my head I'm like, that's going to change. Say no all you want. I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to, like, for instance, I can't tell you how many times I'll hear, there's no way you can be a successful comedian and be a successful producer because you're not giving anything 100%, right? In order for something to be, you have to give 100% and be focused on that. So the fact that I have to split my mind, 50-50, I feel like I can do it. Because why can't I do it? Why can't I have a successful hard-headed comedy production show and Luz Michelle is still touring and headlining and all this is happening for me? Like, there's no reason I can't have both. And if I'm doing this plus being married, plus being a mom of two, like, I'm not gonna not. Like, I'm not gonna not. Whatever that means, I'm not. Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, and it's also like being a woman, right? How I'm supposed to be, what I should be doing. Like, I did that for so many years of my life. And then one day it was one of those little stupid things where you curse your husband out in public. And some woman was like, yeah, that was fucking wrong. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I am going to be that woman, you know, like, and I'll still bake a cake and make a pot roast, but, you know, I can also tell you
Polar
to go
opposites.
fuck off, you know, like, because my husband and I were very polar opposites. He's a very neat person. He's a very detail-oriented person. He likes things a certain way. You walk into his closet, it's like a psychopath. It's like everything's color coordinated. His shoes are in boxes. His hats are hung on hooks. Like, it's amazing. You know, and then you walk in mine, and I'm like, just don't look at it.
Yeah, I know where everything is.
I know where it is. Don't touch anything.
Aw.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Not.
Not. I'm not gonna not
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
And how can I not? Also, like being a female in stand-up comedy or being an entrepreneur who's a female, it's like we have to do it. How can I not do it? Right? How can I not use who I am and the platform that I have to create something? Especially for women, right?
Yeah.
Stand-up comedy still, you'll see a flyer and it's 6 men and 1 woman, right? We're filling a quota. Whereas I'm like, fuck you, 4 women, 1 guy.
Yeah.
You know, and I love men, nothing against men. But why not? If I'm a woman and I have this platform, how can I not put 4 women on a comedy show and 1 guy? How can I not create all women comedy shows? Or comedy shows for mom, or women who smoke cannabis. Like, it's all this stuff that how can you not?
So do you like when you curate a show, is like different locations, different themes, or like is sometimes it like a mixing bowl, like the one we were at in Stanford, which by the way, I'll just mention on the show, we were at the Palace in
Palace.
Yeah.
I know.
The Palace.
Yes, and it was awesome.
It really
was
was.
that one like
Thank you.
like just a random, or was that one like a theme for like how did you do that?
Well, that one was I wanted to really send the message of what hard-headed comedy is going to bring you. It's going to be diverse. You're going to see women in power, but you're also going to see my brother Alex, who is there, who's Colombian, right? So I was like, how do
That's
I...
your brother?
No, I call him my brother.
Oh.
We're both Colombian.
Like, what?
How do I bring a show to Stamford, Connecticut that's different, right? Because there's stand-up comedy happening, right? So in my head, I was like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring a mom. I'm going to bring a woman part of the LGBTQIA community, and I'm going to bring in a Hispanic man who owns his own company. And we're going to talk about all of that in such a professional way that it's going to be a great fucking night of stand-up comedy. Right, because that's what it is. It's like hard-headed comedy. I produce live stand-up shows. I produce stream shows. I produce fundraisers. I produce private events. I do it all. I could produce a show in a grungy club. I could produce a show at something like the Palace Theater. So I don't so much fall under themes. I believe I fall more under what can I bring that's different, right? Like I'm putting together a cannabis show next month, and I'm like, what's going to be different about my cannabis show? What can I highlight about this cannabis show? And for me, it's women who smoke cannabis, right?
Cool.
So it's like sometimes there's a theme and sometimes there's a, I just want to hit them hard.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
I hope
That's
so.
cool.
That's cool.
That's cool. Great
Can you
follow up,
smoke weed
Renee.
at the show? Is that like a thing?
Oh, those I do. Those are fun. Because that's happening now because it's legal,
Yeah.
right? So there are shows that I'm able to attend now where, I mean, it was happening before, but now where, yeah, people are openly just smoking. But you have to be a cannabis smoker because there's people smoking in the room, right? Big cloud of smoke. I did one show. There was this woman on the show. I don't think she 100% knew the type of show we were doing. A friend of mine produced it. It was a sold out show. It was almost like a hot box theater, you know, no pun intended. So the woman comes in, she does her set, she comes out, and she's just like leaning against the wall. And I was like, you okay? And she's like, I don't smoke marijuana. She's like, I am so fucking hot.
Yeah, I bet.
And I'm like, yeah, it's in the air. It's in you. Like there's a huge cloud of smoke.
Always, not just here. It's in the air.
That's
Always.
interesting.
air.
Like you're smoking, but then you're also surrounded by people constantly smoking. Because like you know, like cigar lounges. It may be different than like people like smoking cigarettes back in the day. It's different than smoking weed because you can get high.
Contact high.
Yeah. Whoa.
I didn't believe in contact high till like later on where I was just like, I remember
Got high.
Yeah, like I was in someone's car and I just didn't smoke. I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't. And when I got out, I was like, oh, contact high is real.
Yeah, that shit's crazy.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You guys hit a lot.
Yeah.
Hard-headed comedy. Well, and this podcast.
Yeah. Where do people find hard-headed comedy, like social media wise?
Social media wise, we are on Facebook and Instagram at Hardheaded Comedy Inc. And we're producing more shows. So we're hitting up New York Comedy Club that opened in Stamford last month. We're doing that on 3/15. And then we're coming again to the theater at 4/22. Putting together another Hardheaded Comedy show.
I want to go to
for
the New York
that.
Comedy Club in Stamford.
It's so nice.
Let's do it.
It's so
We'll go to that show.
nice.
Yeah, now, when is that?
3/5.
3/15.
3/15.
I was saying 3-5 already happened, buddy.
Putting on the calendar now.
Next Wednesday.
9 days.
7:30.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, Hump Day.
Hump Day.
That's a fun day to go to a comedy show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I
is.
mean, I feel like any
It's the
day
perfect.
really
It's the
is.
hump of the week.
Yeah,
We're
you need
bringing
some
in the weekend.
Yeah.
Is that the tagline? We're the hump of the week?
I'm gonna roll with that.
Yeah, dude.
There you go. You're opening, Tony.
Yeah.
We are the hump of the week.
Wait, you know, that just put a thought in my mind. I remember one of my professors, who is like in the film world, and he was director, and what he would do is he would sit in coffee shops and he would just have always carry a notebook, and he would eavesdrop and just listen on people's conversations just because they're talking too loud. And then if he hears something he likes, he writes it down, and like he has like a whole bookcase full of
Oh, wow.
notebooks. So like, do you pick off of people like surrounding conversation? Like, do you do that when you're
That's a good
out?
question.
Oh,
How do you-
100%.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Yeah,
I
what-
make up stuff that people like say shit. They say
Yeah.
stuff. You can just
You can. 100. I've heard like moms have crazy conversations or couples have conversations or people just arguing, and I'll just be like, you know what that reminds me of? You know, and then I've been at funerals. You know, I've been in like where I've been, and material has come to me is crazy.
That's
but
awesome.
yeah, just stopping and listening to the surroundings, especially like a really busy coffee shop, it'll just get you going. Right? Seeing a couple, you know what? I can talk about relationships, right? Or seeing someone stub their toe, I can talk about the shit that pisses me off. That's right. You know, like it gets you, people watching can really get you going. I'm more, because I'm not a writer, I'm more
I'm not
bullet
really
point.
a writer either. They're just,
Oh, he made
Tony,
it
no,
like
Tony-
write
he's like a
novels.
dictionary.
yeah.
Tony,
They make it like,
no,
oh,
I was
wow.
saying
dude.
Fancy
Tony,
words.
Tony Light is a thesaurus.
Oh,
Like-
that's great.
Did you know what the name of the symbol of, like, you know, the and symbol, the thing? Do you know the name of that?
No, you know what? I don't.
Well,
ahead, Tony.
Tony knows it.
What is it?
It's an ampersand.
An ampersand. Like,
Wait, say that again?
Yeah, I'm a
Ampersand.
geek. What again, Tony? I'm a
Ampersand.
geek. I'm funny, Tony.
But those are the tools that you need in life to know what that is called.
Yeah, no, he knows a lot of words.
why do you?
Ridiculous.
Whoa.
Whoa.
I mean, I feel like I could have gone my entire life
Without knowing
that.
it. Yeah,
Although maybe I
yeah.
can say to someone one day, like I am right now, hey, did you know the name of that?
Tony, tell her what it is.
Yeah.
She still doesn't remember.
Yeah.
Ampersand.
I don't know.
And you
That's
could
it.
say that word because not everyone knows that. You can call someone that.
Yeah.
Ampersand.
Yeah, they'll feel really
Take
disrespected.
that.
Yeah, words are important, Michael.
Words are
Words
important.
matter.
Yeah.
Words are matter.
Words are important.
Well, they are.
They are
Yeah.
very important.
Books are important.
They are.
Do you
Sure
like
do.
books?
I do my best with books.
What's your favorite book?
Oh God, stop. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know. My favorite. I'm not like a book reader. Like
Yeah,
I'm someone who has a
right.
book and it takes a year
So?
to God
Yeah.
knows
What's
what.
a book
yeah.
that's been good to you?
Like
Kill a
Impeccable.
Mockingbird.
God, I have to
Like,
look it up.
It's okay.
No,
What's the
I
big
know.
deal?
I don't
Catcher
have,
in the Rye.
no, God,
Animal
no.
Farm.
I'm waiting for someone to say like the Bible. The Bible is my favorite book.
Every day.
I was gonna say every
Every
day.
day, the Bible.
So the book that I just finished, which I was very, very happy to read, was by Rob Delaney,
Mm-hmm.
and it's called. Hold on.
It's okay. We asked this question, so
Yeah, very good transition there, Mike.
that's what I did.
I'm not.
Do you like books?
That was the transition.
I know, and I'm like, yeah. I love it.
It's like a first date
I
question.
love that.
Do you like books?
And I'm like, let me look it up. But yeah, it's Rob Delaney's new book. It was good. It was good. Big fan.
New book. Type in new book.
Thank
What? I know he has it's
A
the
heart
blue
that
one.
works.
The blue one.
Rob
with the
Delaney,
deer.
mother, wife. This one?
The blue one. Yes.
Mother, wife, sister, human warrior, falcon, yardstick, turban, cabbage.
That's actually sounds like Tony. Thank you.
Excellent book.
See, you know what's funny?
Be
They
sure
don't
to
think.
edit that so I sound smart.
Yeah, exactly. My favorite book is.
Wait a minute.
You're going to hear my voice say that. Yeah, my favorite book is
Yeah,
my voice.
Tony's
Robert Delaney.
That's funny. Anything else?
Oh, the last question. Tony, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
Yeah, no,
ahead.
I'm not here, Renee. Forget it. Dude.
No,
Go
go ahead.
ahead. Go ahead,
Tony.
Renee.
I was going to ask, have you ever been heckled before on stage?
Yes, I have. By a bachelorette party.
Were they just drunk?
Dude,
or,
did you
were they-
They were drunk.
Did you
Yeah.
like tear them up or what?
You know, I did my best, but they were.
They're rude.
They were ruthless?
Gosh, yeah.
Oh,
They
dude.
were ruthless. They were like, we don't give a fuck. And they were just like yelling, like doing shots,
Oh, my
talking over
God.
everybody. Like
Oh,
they
my
didn't
God.
give a fuck.
Do they get tossed out? Like, what's the protocol on that?
No,
No,
they
they
didn't
spent
get
the most
tossed
money.
out.
What are you talking about?
It was a big
okay,
party.
big party? Oh, shit.
Oh
Yeah.
man, but you know what? Those things make you stronger.
Yeah,
right?
I bet.
Yeah, I could walk through a
Yeah.
crowd of women yelling at me, and I'm fine.
I hope they're listening right now.
Yeah.
You know, when this comes out.
They made me stronger.
Yeah. I hope you got fucking divorced, okay?
That it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Right?
What's your last question, Renee?
Oh, we always, because the two questions that we always ask at the end of
I know.
the podcast.
No, Renee's the she's doing the interview.
I know.
Well, I actually kind of like this, like all, because usually it's just
All
like
inclusive, yeah.
it's just like Mike on the table, but I kind of like
Oh,
this.
no,
Me too.
yes, I
Yeah.
like that.
No, me
everyone
too. This is
playing.
dope.
Yeah.
This was fun.
Last question is, if you could give advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Calm down. I would tell myself to calm down. I feel like I lived my life for a very long time. I always use this visual. It's like seeing the most perfect, comfortable chair in the whole entire world. I've always sat on the edge of it. I've never like sat back in that chair of my life and looked at it and been in it and enjoyed it. Because I've always been, like I said, what's next? What's next? What's next? So it's like if I could really sit down with, like, especially my 20-something-year-old self, like I would just tell her, like, just calm down. You don't have to be so angry. You don't have to be so ready. You don't have to be so, okay. Just be in it. And love yourself. I think that's like the biggest lesson I could teach my younger self all the way up into adulthood is to love yourself. Don't forget to love yourself. I think I've also done that. I've always taken care of others. And when it came to myself, I'd give myself so much so fast that I wasn't growing from it.
Love
that
it.
makes
That's
sense.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And last time, where can people find you and the comedy show?
So you can find me on all the platforms under Luz Michelle Inc., something a little different, and Hard-Headed Comedy Incorporated. It's a one-woman show, hard-headed, so everything you see, everything that gets produced, it's me. It's all me. It's all me. I did do, a side note, an interview years ago, and this magazine refused to put hard-headed comedy is Luz Michelle, and they put it that hard-headed comedy is a troupe. Who uses the word
Oh,
troupe?
wow.
Yeah, and they said we were a troupe. So I just want everyone, I guess, to know that hard-headed comedy is me. It started with me. I'm looking to grow hard-headed comedy. I'd love to bring more people on in time, of course, because what I'm learning is even being in this room with all of you guys, there's so many talented people out there. And when you collaborate, you can create something so beyond your imagination. So that, too, I would tell my younger self to pay attention to the people around you, have conversations, ask questions. I didn't learn to ask questions till I was in my late 30s. No one told me that. To ask. Just ask for it. What's the worst thing I'm going to say? No?
Yeah.
Bet you'll still get it.
Because what did you say?
I'm not going to not.
I'm not gonna not.
Yeah. Exactly.
I love that
Don't
line.
not.
I know.
I also am pretty good at making knots, too.
Nice.
Like-
tie
Like-
knots.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I love those little challenges.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you
Wow.
know like the
What's your-
name? Like
I don't know the name.
Oh, you know.
but I can make.
Tony doesn't appreciate that.
See, Tony, you can't do that.
If Matt was here, because Matt was a
Matt is an Eagle Scout.
Yeah.
One of our
Oh,
other
God, he would have been
members.
so mad.
He's like,
How do you not know the name? I don't know. A noose? I don't know the name. Sorry. But yeah, I have an obsession with knots and getting knots out.
Ooh,
Oh,
yeah, that's
wow.
always a good one.
I have a lot.
I may
His
have a few.
hair.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have a few pieces of pants I can maybe give you.
Pieces of
pieces
pants.
of pants that have like the knots in it. You can't get out.
Pants?
Brutal.
I love the
Yeah,
hardest.
sweatpants with like drawstring or drawstring
I
I was like,
love
tying your
those.
pants
What do you
together.
And
got?
you washed it and
shorts.
dried
Oh
it.
yeah, it's fucking over, dude. You know what I do sometimes? I just take fucking scissors to them and just cut the thing off.
No.
Tony
You gotta
gave
put the
up.
scissor through the loop,
Scissor through the loop.
and it loosens it.
This is like a whole
Yeah.
other
I
genre
love
of like
knots.
fetishes.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh God, where are we going? We don't know.
This
Oh,
is
it's
awesome.
This was so much fun,
This
you
is a lot
guys.
of
It
fun.
was
Yeah.
a lot of fun. It was like a therapy
So
session.
yeah, the
Thanks for
next
coming in.
show.
Cool.
Yeah.
I said thanks for coming in for the trip and
Yeah.
for the
Thank you
show.
for coming.
It was worth it.
It's only
Very
25
worth it.
minutes.
How long is the show?
No, the travel. I'm
The
saying.
travel.
Oh, I was like,
You guys
big
are so stupid. You guys are so dumb.
No,
Not
he did
loose.
it
but-
funny.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
a funny.
He's not funny. He thinks he's funny.
I really don't think I'm that
actually was
funny.
a class clown in elementary school and middle school.
Yeah,
and
but
I-
that's
and
like
I didn't
in
care about high
Fairfield,
school.
though. That's in Fairfield. There's no one funny in Fairfield.
Yeah, you have to take in consideration
Yeah,
the
the
surroundings.
surroundings, Michael. Who's funny in Fairfield? Name one funny person around here.
John Mayer.
John Mayer is not funny.
Yes, he is.
Johnny is funny.
No, he's
Go look
not,
at his
dude. No, he's not. No,
Yes,
he's
he
not
is.
funny.
Go
He's
look
not
at
funny.
John
He's not
Mayer's
funny.
TV show he did before he was a
Yeah,
fucking
no,
thing.
that's great,
He's very
dude.
funny.
That's great.
Thing, he was ahead of his
Yeah.
time.
He didn't write one thing for that show. He didn't
John,
write one
I'm
thing.
on
He did
your
not
side,
write one
buddy.
thing, dude. He didn't write one thing for the show. He had writers to do
No,
it for
he
him.
didn't.
And then he had an
So
acting.
good.
And then he had an acting coach on top of the writers.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he's not funny.
Oh, then
John, I'm on your side.
Yeah, obviously bias.
No, I'm not.
No.
I mean, Staten Island, we got Pete Davidson.
I know, dude. It's not great, but he's funny though. He's got funny
He is
things.
funny, and he's been in the game for a minute. You know,
Yeah.
he's been in it for a
yeah.
long time.
There's other great things that came out of Staten Island too. It's not just Pete Davidson.
True. You go first.
Well, I mean, Wu-Tang Clan, us, right?
Us,
The
Wu-Tang,
Clan.
us and Wu-Tang.
You could arguably Christina Aguilera. She's from Staten Island.
She doesn't talk about it a
No,
lot.
she doesn't ever talk about it. And actually, Emilio Estevez was born on Staten Island.
And then
That's
shipped off.
right.
Martin Sheen had a house on Staten Island at the time. Emilio was pregnant, the wife pregnant Emilio.
Yeah.
Born.
I know how it happens,
Emilio,
things.
dude. No, I wasn't sure if the same thing happens in Fairfield. Maybe it's something different.
Oh.
Yeah, like
I got it. I got
alien
it.
births. Like,
Well, the stork, comes with the baby and everything, dude. Yeah.
but does the stork poop out the baby?
I mean, I feel like that's what it would sound like.
Well, I don't
It's
know,
an
isn't
interesting
that-
conversation, though, when there's a movie, Storks, right, by DreamWorks. I remember when I first watched that with my kids, they were like, that's how it happened? And I was like, yeah, right now, yeah. That's
We'll go with
exactly how it happened.
that. Yeah. Jennifer Aniston is in it.
Jennifer Aniston, Keegan-Michael Key. Ooh,
Storks
Kelsey
was
Grammer.
so good. Storks is one of my favorites.
I love all these types of movies.
65% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Is this an
How
animated?
dare they?
Yeah,
Is
they
this
don't
an
know
animated
anything.
film?
They don't know.
It is
Yes.
DreamWorks. Storks deliver babies, or at least they used to. Now they deliver packages for a global internet retail giant. Oh my!
What?
That does sound kind of funny.
That
actually.
is funny.
Yeah.
It's like they
Something
did
you aren't.
babies, then they became UPS, and then they go back to babies.
Oh, that's nice.
It's a really good feel-good movie.
That's
Aw.
awesome.
Watch that.
nice family comedy. Just under an hour and a half. That's a
Just
good.
under.
Wow,
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, that's good.
And I feel like kid movies, DreamWorks, I like. They don't always do like Disney, where
Right.
someone dies, like the father,
Where
when
it's
the
sad in the
baby's just-
beginning.
It's so sad in
Yeah,
the beginning.
yeah, like
Like
Finding
Up.
Nemo or Bambi
oh
or.
God,
Everyone
Bambi.
forgets like the mother died at like the opening
Yeah.
credits.
I know.
There wasn't even like a real
Terrible.
scene
And
about
it gets
it.
fucking shot. She
Yeah.
gets shot.
Tarzan.
I thought she got run over.
No,
Fox
I thought
and
it
the
was
Hound.
the
Yeah,
hunters.
maybe the hunters.
I was just
Yeah.
watching that one the other day.
So sad.
Yeah, Fox and the Hound. That song in
but,
it.
But they really
the
tug at your
harmonica?
heartstrings though, and make you feel.
They do.
Make you
Now-
feel.
Nowadays, I feel like they lost out a little bit.
It's a little too. It's a little too much.
Right.
Although,
is
you ever
now.
seen the dumpling, the Disney
short.
shorts?
Yeah.
Oh, the Disney
love
shorts are so
mom,
good.
right?
Yes,
The
the,
mom.
bow.
Yeah.
She eats the bow. Everyone
creepy
in
as
this
fuck.
theater was
Oh.
laughing. I was like, "You sick bastards!" She just ate her son.
When I saw that with my kids, I was like, "Oh, damn!"
Yeah, you get ruthless.
My,
Yeah, I was like,
my
what the-
daughter was
I
like, "She
forget what-
ate him." I was like, "Yeah, because she didn't want him to move on in life."
I forget what movie.
yeah,
that was.
yeah.
I forget what movie that was attached. It might have been maybe on
Oh no, it was
Incredibles 2.
Incredibles 2.
Incredibles 2. I said it
Oh,
first.
love Incredibles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Love
me too. And the
Incredibles.
second one was also one of the
Yeah.
greatest sequels.
They did
ever.
good.
Yes.
It was so good.
I agree.
It's just funny because
It is. I love
I
it.
can't see Renee because of the screen.
Yeah.
So I don't know like what she's doing or really, and I just hear
I
it.
can see-
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. It just.
Yeah.
She loves it.
Yeah.
She's having a blast.
I know. First time ever, she's having a good time on the microphone.
I know.
think.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, see.
Well, you know, the sports
What is this?
sports
Shaggy?
show. I'll only talk about like maybe the Steelers or soccer,
We try to anyway.
and then
I'm the worst to talk with sports. Like, I'm the
Yeah.
person
I
you
got
go to
it.
a game with, and I'm like, I'm here for the drinks, the food, and the uniforms. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know what.
That's like Michael.
And the people.
Yeah.
And the people around. You
and
see
the nice,
crazy
yeah,
people
the
in
nice
stadiums.
toned athletic butts. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
Yeah, dude.
wow.
Yep.
I mean, who doesn't?
I mean, everyone's thinking it. Okay.
Well, the uniforms sometimes are a little weird. Like
The
Go
only
on.
thing I don't get about the stadiums is how they close the bars. Like, it's literally
Yeah.
what, like a half hour before a
Well,
baseball
the
game.
baseball game, it's after the seventh inning.
Yeah, they shut
Close
it down.
them, and then like hockey games, like after the second intermission. So by the third period starts, bars are closed. I don't know about
Yeah.
basketball games.
It goes on till the end.
Goes on to the end.
Oh,
Yeah, it says a
okay.
lot.
I know. I don't
There's a
know.
lot about the culture there for the NBA,
I
dude.
don't know.
I mean, I definitely like I don't know.
But like, what is that?
I know.
Why?
They just don't want you to have fun, man.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe
system.
it's like for like so people don't get too fucked up. Or the
Yeah,
people
but see,
are-
if
Well, they have
I'm
to clean
if I'm
up and
having a
get out
good
of there.
time and getting fucked up, that's what it's laziness. I
yeah,
think.
it is.
Because they want to shut down.
or they have a
Just
recipe for
bogusness.
success. They already have a recipe down, and people will always come no matter what. Anyway,
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
obviously
of
people are gonna
course,
go
yeah.
anyway. But
Yeah.
it's like, do you want like I'll buy beers in the third period, so like you're gonna make money.
That's what I mean.
Do you hate money?
Maybe
How
they
about
do.
like keep it open for the third period and knock the price of the beer down by like $3,
Get hammered.
and then because people buy more in the third period, and you can knock the price down, so people will be more inclined to buy more beers.
It's true. I tried one time. A woman was cleaning up, and I said to her, I was like, "Come on, I'll give you the money.
Yeah.
Just make the drink.
Yeah.
please.
You keep the money.
Yeah, you pocket the money.
You
Just
keep
make
the
the drink.
money.
Yeah. Please.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
That's-
Stay after.
Desperation is.
I know. Desperation could look real something on you.
Yeah.
It's just I can't do that. No, you can. You
Just,
can.
just do it. Just do it. It's a beer. I just want another beer. And they're like, I can't. We're closed. And I'm like, what does that mean? We're not. The game is still happening.
Yeah.
So stupid. That's why you got to be
There's
smart.
rules.
But yeah, I think that's it, huh, guys?
Yeah.
Any
One
more?
episode.
That was good.
That was
Oh,
so
that
much
was good.
fun.
I'm glad.
How long was
Yeah.
that?
With the 7-minute beginning, an hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
What?
Yeah, it flew by,
Flew
right?
by.
Oh,
You
shit.
thought it was
We
quick.
could probably
2:43.
What?
I mean,
That's
we can probably
great.
go 3 hours. Honestly.
Thank you for watching. We love you. Follow, sub, and like. Peace. I just have to pee so bad.